Hi, and welcome to Future Focus, a financial strategies podcast where we make the complex simple. My name is Troy Branch, and I'm joined here again by my advanced planning colleagues, Keely Jo French.
Hello.
And Jacob Messick.
Hey, Troy, that was a good intro this time.
Good
You
job.
like that?
I liked it.
They call me One Take Troy.
It was almost one take.
It was
It was almost one take. So here's what we're going to do today. It's finally here. Like it's the much anticipated, much talked about listener episode. Where every fifth episode from here on out, I think this is episode 15. I think this is going to air So every fifth episode, we're going to take questions from you, the listener, and it's why it's so important that, as Jacob likes to say, smash the like button, make sure you subscribe so you know when new episodes drop, but also gives you the opportunity to comment and ask questions below the episode that you actually happen to be viewing. So make sure you smash the like button. Make sure you subscribe so you know when new things come out. And who knows, every fifth episode, if you have a comment or you have a question, we may address it in an upcoming listener episode. All right. So we good for today?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. I like being able to answer, just, hey, let's drop some general knowledge. Let's answer some questions.
Okay. So for the listeners out there, I have to make sure that we say and that we understand that we are answering questions for general information. This is in no way intended to be a specific recommendation, no way intended to be tax advice or legal advice or any of the advices that one may suggest that we would be giving. We're not doing that. We're here to answer questions from an educational stance, and oftentimes, as you've probably gathered from Future Focus episodes, there's going to be a lot of it depends. Personal finance is personal, and what's our other favorite one?
Everything's not just a one solution fits all. Everyone's situation is a little bit different. So yeah, I things really depend. But here's just some things for you to consider as these questions come up, because they are going to come up.
Kind of make you want to put that in. That was a long way to say it depends.
Yeah.
I got to get some screen time. So
all right. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. I have some questions here that our listeners that I've taken and written down. We're just going to ask the question. You're going to answer them, and then we'll see how far we get. All right.
Okay.
So. And just so you know that these cover quite a variety of sort of topic areas. So you'll see what I'm talking about when you hear it. So first question: how does someone figure? And by the way, this is from our listeners. How does someone figure out how much money they need to be able to retire in the manner they hope? Let me say it again.
No, I got it.
Got it? Okay.
In the manner that they hope. Well, I know there's generally a rule of thumb that you should save or at least have 80% of what your current income is, be able to live on 80% of your current income. As for saving day to day, I don't know how much that dollar amount would be. It really depends on what you're actually putting your money into. I don't know what you would add to that.
No, I mean,
Can I help the listener out? So this is going to be really good because we have Gen X, old wily vet, and the answer of the asker of the question. So I really don't have to comment if I don't want to. Then we have she'll say
I'm a millennial.
She'll say millennial, but
I'm the last.
She's
millennial.
really Gen Z.
1996. That
Anyway,
is the cutoff.
So she's 96, but Gen Z adjacent.
Don't
right?
even know.
And then we have
we'll say
solid millennial.
Someone that's 20 to 25 years away from retirement. So hey, these
Just
things are starting to. You got to start thinking ahead of time and plan for the future. So
20 to 25 years. 10 to 15?
No,
15 to 20?
I'll say 20 to 25 years for me. Probably.
How old am I? 35 years from me?
So 35 for you. What time is it?
Time for you to watch.
So I'm probably, I guess, realistically 10 years away. With lottery results pending.
So I think what you're saying, that's a long way of saying, hey, there's quite the different age groups of how different people look at the answers to this question.
Absolutely.
And, I think you were probably looking at my notes ahead of time
I
because
was
you mentioned
not, I swear.
70 to 80% of pre-retirement income. To me, answer the question is, and you hit on it, it depends. I think it really depends on what do you want your retirement to look like when you retire? What do you want? What do you want that lifestyle to look like? When do you want to retire? Do you want to retire early? Are you planning to retire closer to your Social Security age? What are your goals for retirement? Do you want to travel a lot? Do you want to go, visit places and go to Canada on an annual basis in the summertime? Do you want to plan to stay in your current home or downsize or move to a different state? Maybe you have family and kids and grandkids in another state. So I really think it's that conversation of what do you want your retirement to look like?
And I honestly think it does come down to just saving what you can, because what they say, a penny saved is a penny earned. I want to up that to $1 with inflation. But really, it's just what you can save while you can save it. Because anything that you do save, let's say you oversave for retirement, great, you get to retire early. What's the downside of that? I mean, nothing, in my opinion.
I think it's one thing that we had talked about in the last couple episodes. I think it's the one that you and I did when I was sitting right there, and it was just the two.
He's really bitter. He's not in the middle. This is my spot.
Just the two of us amigos that were talking. It's where is that paycheck coming in retirement? Mm-hmm. It's not so much focusing on a lump sum, but what does that monthly income in retirement look like? You talked about it in that episode. Retirement is a cash flow problem. I know what my expenses are. Maybe it's my basic essential living expenses, but what are my wants as well to look like in retirement? So it's determining and figuring out what does my expenses look like in retirement, and then backing into that amount to cover those expenses.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say, just so people could go, so what's the answer, guys?
It depends.
It depends. One is the answer, but then also it's asking and like sitting down and thinking about what you want that to look like, and know if you're 35 years out, if you're 25 years out, if you're 10 years out, that's a moving target of what you think it wants to look like. And then sitting down and kind of writing, like actually writing it down, so you can kind of get numbers and what number do I kind of get to, but understand that it's not a magic number.
No, and it's just because it's that number now, it might not be the same number as you get closer to retirement, or
I can tell you that changes
after retirement. Maybe you start slowing down, so what you needed at the beginning of the time at retirement might be less, or maybe it's more in the later years. So it's having those conversations with a financial professional, planning ahead, so hey, am I on track to achieve this level of retirement that I want, or do I need to make some changes? Do I need to contribute more? Do I need to work longer? So it's having those questions. It's really thinking about we talked about this before. It's the behavioral part of it. Mm-hmm. It's really understanding what's important to you and what do you want that retirement to be like. And then it turns into a cash flow problem.
Whether that's sitting down with yourself and putting it down, or sitting down with the financial professional, I think the answer to that question, it depends, but you need to sit down and think about what you want it to look like, and then you can work towards it.
Is it 70 to 80% of your pre-retirement income, or do you want to travel a lot and now you want it to be 100% or 120% of what your expenses were before retirement? So it's really trying to figure out what you want your lifestyle to be.
Right. Without giving specific advice.
Right.
All right. Okay, so let's keep going.
I'll tell you what,
that did not go as fast as I thought it was.
Can I throw a curveball for a sub question that we get all the time? We'll call it a listener question from inside of Emeritus.
Okay. So I have no idea what's about ready to happen. So let's go.
Well, no,
and that's not a setup. I literally have no idea what's about to
Ameritas
happen.
Has a great intern program. We work with the local university. We have a lot of great interns that come and work at Ameritas. Question that we get all the time is for an intern graduate. And here we're talking about retirement planning. Keely Joe is 35 years off, but let's say we have a listener out there like our interns who they're 40 or 45 years away from retirement. For an intern or someone that's maybe just graduating college, what is something that they should consider when it comes to retirement?
Saving what you can. I mean, you may not be able to put aside, like maxing out your contributions to your IRA or Roth 401k, et cetera. You may not even have those yet, but just saving what you can. And I think the biggest thing that you should do when you're young is actually look and see what kind of savings vehicles are out there for retirement planning. Like, you probably don't know what a Roth IRA is, how important that is, how great it is for the younger you are. I mean, there's a lot of opportunities out there. Just exploring what your options are and just saving what you can is so important when you can do it.
it's setting up good habits. Like that's the first thing, right? Like establish the good habits. Live below your means. You're like, richest man in Babylon.
Pay yourself first.
Pay yourself first.
Know
at
what
least
your goals
10%.
are.
Blah, blah, blah. All those things. Sit down and have your goals and have a budget. And I'm a big believer in budget, cash flow statement, balance sheet. I need to know what I planned on doing, what I actually did, and what's my report card. That's what those three things are. And so that's what I believe in. Some people may look at something differently. Certainly if you sat down with a specific advisor to get a specific advice, they may do it differently. You've got to decide if that's what you sort of resonate with. I got a 22-year-old that I've had these conversations with. It's sit down. I said the same thing: budget, balance sheet, budget, cash flow statement, balance sheet. Understand those, review them periodically. It will guide you. It will serve as a guide as you sort of build your financial life going forward. And then in terms of how would I start out, oftentimes it's going to be what I have at my employer, if that's the case, and sort of walking through what's available at the particular employer, whether it's a 401k, whether it's a Roth 401k, whether it's I'm self-employed, and it's some other type of retirement qualified plan that I may have access to. It's good habits, and then I create dollars that I need to disperse, and how I'm going to do that will depend on what I have access to.
So pay yourself first. Make savings a priority.
Yep.
Live below your means.
Live below your means.
Just wanted to spend a few minutes. Hey, for the younger generation that hopefully they're listening to us as well, not leaving them out of the conversation. They're thinking, well, I have even longer. What should I be?
Right.
What are some things that I just need to consider or be thinking of?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I just want to throw out there that, like, for somebody who's younger, who's hearing all this listing off, it can be very, very intimidating. So really what Troy said is establishing those habits is really important. Just start where you can. You don't have to start at like saving 50% of your income, 10%, even if you can't save 10% of your income, which is like usually the good rule of thumb to live by. Just save something and start somewhere. Eventually get to that point where Troy's at, because he is the gold standard for that. That is perfect.
No.
In my opinion,
no.
gold standard.
No.
But it can be very intimidating when you're just starting off.
No, So, and I have this conversation all the time. I've had it with my kids. I've had it in the local community. Establish good habits, and then you can figure out a lot of, like, once you've established the habits, and you need to figure out where to deploy money, to deploy your assets. That's a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I took us off that detour. We got
There's no way this is going to be a short episode.
We got
now.
the production crew behind us saying, you guys got to answer these questions quicker. So we promise these. We'll get through the questions quicker with each one.
All right,
Next.
We'll get there.
All right. So, and of course, we're not getting to this one very quick. Here we go. Okay. So this was a long question, and I will add color if we need to. But here we go. How do people typically handle estate equalization in a second marriage? No, we're not getting to this quickly. How do people typically handle estate equalization in a second marriage situation where there are children from the first marriage and children from the second marriage?
Love that question.
It sounds like a simple question. Should be a simple answer, right?
No.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
No?
No. Let me hear the simple answer.
No, I just.
Go ahead.
Well, yeah. No, all joking aside, it is not a simple answer. That's where I would say it all starts with communication. Mm-hmm. I think a big first step is having those conversations, those family meetings, those family conversations to see what do they want to accomplish from an estate planning standpoint? What do they want to leave behind to their heirs, to those children in the first marriage, to the children in the second marriage, to the surviving spouse? Mm. What are their plans? And then it moves into maybe here are some things that we could do to try to implement to make sure that gets accomplished, and things get passed down the way they want it to be.
I think go on.
No, I says all starts with communication.
It does start with communication, but you definitely need a solid plan in place, just because there's that wicked stepmother theory when you have blended families involved. Because you can pretty much have something set up where you leave everything to your surviving spouse. Let's say you pass away early. What is to stop that surviving spouse? Trust them and love them as much as you may. What's to stop them from leaving everything to their kids and nothing to your kids? Not much. A promise is nothing when the other person is dead, unfortunately. So it's really important to put actual mechanisms in place that will ensure that your kids actually have an inheritance. Generally, we recommend, well, not recommend. Generally, the best practice is to do a trust. But a trust is kind of not there for everybody. Some people find trust to be a little bit overly expensive. So there's other ways around trust. Like, for example, if you want to guarantee that your kids have an inheritance, but you want to leave everything to your spouse to take care of them, which is generally what the actual situation is, you can have, for example, a life insurance policy where you have a beneficiary designation, and I'm going to put one in,
Yeah, good.
beneficiary designation that is outside of your estate, that goes outside of the will. Because while your will can leave everything to your spouse, this will guarantee that your kids get something.
It's a way to we talked about equalize the
Equalize the
estate,
estate.
balance the scales, saying, hey, I'm leaving this to this person, this to that, and trying to accomplish those goals. And life insurance is a great tool to provide that way of
that instant equity, if you will, in terms of, like you said, and I think that's the subcontext to this question, which is, kids from first marriage are going to receive something already, and if something happens to the spouse of or to the spouse of the second marriage that has the concern, if something happens to them, what happens to the child from the spouse of the second marriage that was a product of that second marriage? What happens? How do I ensure that child is taken care of?
So to me, so that's where working with a professional, making sure you have wills and trusts if they want to go into the trust in place. It's titling assets, it's beneficiary designations, it's that open family communication. It all starts with.
Go ahead. No, finish.
Oh yeah. So I just think it just all starts with working with the right financial professional, the right estate planning attorney, potentially to make sure that those wishes are being met.
And see, I think it's even before. Yes, it is the right. Whoever the professional is, whether it's whether it's an estate planning attorney, whether it's whether it's a
financial
an advisor,
professional,
or a financial professional, whatever it may be, someone can get everyone in the room to have a conversation that says, what do you want to have? What do you want to be accomplished, and allow people the room to be vulnerable in that these are my worries. Right? It doesn't mean I don't love you, them, us any less. These are my worries, and everyone has the room to be vulnerable enough to throw that all out, and then we can come up with then they can workshop a solution, and that financial professional can help them with that solution.
Here's our goals. Here's our concerns. Here's what's keeping us up at night. Here's what we want to accomplish.
Yes.
And then there's ways to accomplish that. But it's kind of same as going back to the first question. It's you got to start having those conversations.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That was shockingly faster.
That's a lot quicker. We're getting better.
at
We're
this.
getting better.
Okay. So, when should firms or businesses start to consider executive compensation?
I think they should consider it as
Actually,
soon as...
I should go, ooh, I want this one.
Do it. Go for it.
Because executive compensation is kind of my jam, but go ahead.
Well, I feel like I shouldn't go now. But executive compensation, as soon as you have a key employee, you need to think about executive compensation, because your key employee is the person where, your business kind of hinges on. You need them to run. Maybe they're like the top producer, or you just need them in your day-to-day operations. What happens if they leave? What happens to your business? So we want to incentivize that person not only not to leave, but we want to keep them. We want to continuously recruit them to us, and we want to reward them for their work. Recruit, retain, reward.
I was on with Keith Gillies. I don't know, a couple ups. Hold on, I'm not sure when.
2 episodes ago. One more.
I don't know when it's going to air, but regardless, I was recording with Keith Gillies. I'm not sure when it's going to air in relation to this one. But on the episode with Keith Gillies, one of the things that he talked about that I'd never considered is that he's running into situations where the key employee, you're not only recruiting, retaining, and rewarding them, or rewarding them, you're also eliminating what oftentimes becomes your chief rival. Mm-hmm. He's like, because what he's finding is that key employee who you did recruit, retain, or
was probably going to work somewhere else
is left and said, I can do this, and I'm the glue that holds this together. I'll just go do it for myself, and then that becomes your chief rival. So you're also you're protecting the viability of your business into the future.
You're also making it more expensive for your competitors to come in and recruit them. You're increasing that cost. The more compensation you give to your executive, the harder it is for a third party to come in and be like, let me make you a better offer.
Right. So I think once you start having that individual that's really driving the growth of your business, whether it's a new business or an existing, if you have that individual where you're thinking, hey, what would happen if this person left tomorrow? Oh gosh, I'd really be in a bad shape. I'd be hurting. That's probably when you really want to start if you haven't already done something, start considering, hey, do I need to look into putting something in place to retain and reward this individual? So if you have those individuals that are very key to the growth of the business, that's probably a good beginning point to start having that conversation.
Okay. And in the same vein, we're going to move on to the next.
I'll tell you what, can we take another roadmap? We've answered 3 or 4 really tough questions.
Those aren't really tough.
No, we've answered some.
This one is in the same vein, though, of at what number?
I got a good listener question to bring up. All right, fine, so this one kind of gives us a little break from the financial questions. So
this is not going to be a serious question, I guarantee.
So this is a listener question. This comes from a listener. So when this episode airs, it's going to be close to around Thanksgiving time, either right before or right after. So a question from a listener was mac and cheese. On the Thanksgiving dinner table, does mac and cheese belong as a side with what you're having?
Man,
yes.
My mom was going to reach out of the grave and smack you across your face. Of course it does. How's mac and cheese not? No, hold on a sec. Whoa. Hold on. What kind of mac and cheese are you talking about? Because if you put mac and cheese that came out of a box.
I'll say it's not. It has to be homemade mac and cheese.
We got a problem.
So I'm surprised.
Honestly,
you're saying
I'm
yes.
probably
we both
say
yes.
Yes.
See, it's not usually at our table on Thanksgiving, although I wouldn't say no if it was. And if I look behind the cameras, we getting thumbs up or thumbs down for if mac and cheese belongs. We got 1 thumbs up, 1 thumbs up. The entire room says mac and cheese is a yes for Thanksgiving. Okay. I was just curious. I should say the listener was curious.
Now, again, if you're doing mac and cheese and the box was blue and had the yellow curly, that orange curly stuff, because that's what it ends up looking like, orange, then I'm probably leaving your table.
But if you're saying homemade mac and cheese, it definitely belongs.
Okay.
By the mashed potatoes,
what about the
by
middle?
the green beans.
Velveeta shells and cheese.
No, absolutely not. No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No, I'm with it. You know what? I thought there would be a little bit of disagreement. I thought there would be more of a no. I'm kind of surprised there's yes.
That is a no-brainer.
I didn't know that about you guys. That's.
So
you didn't know that mac and cheese is good?
No, that mac and cheese was part of the Thanksgiving staple.
It can be.
Mac and cheese, candy sweets. And not a casserole, like candy sweets cut, like candy sweets, cornbread stuffing, preferably the stuffing out of the bird, like old school stuffing, like cornbread stuffing. You get a scoop of cornbread stuffing, a scoop of yams, and you top it off with mac and cheese, all on the same fork.
He has a very specific Thanksgiving tradition.
And if you're feeling good, the jelly cranberry sauce. I don't want.
Out of the can?
I know your aunt's cranberry sauce is awesome, but I want the jelly cranberry sauce out of the can, cutting in like.
So the cranberry sauce is okay out of the can, but the mac and cheese is not okay out of the box.
Oh, absolutely not.
Okay.
No,
I would agree. No box mac and cheese, homemade mac and cheese.
Zero shot of this episode now being short.
All right, I promise. That was the last listener question that's coming from this side of the table.
All right, let's take a look, and this is in that same vein of the previous real listener question that we actually addressed.
Mac and cheese is a real listener question.
It was not.
Okay. I mean, it was a great question, great detour, but anyway, at what net worth should a family be considering estate planning?
Any.
$1. Honestly, I don't even think it should be a net worth. I have 3 criteria. If you meet one of the 3, you need to have an estate plan. 1, you're above the age of 18. 2, you have any property of any kind. 3, you have children. One of those 3, you need an estate plan. In fact, I would even go, you need an estate plan at $0, just because people don't realize your estate plan includes things like your powers of attorney. Who's going to take care of you when you are incapable of making medical or financial decisions for yourself? That is part of your estate plan. So any dollar amount, you need an estate plan, period.
I would agree. I think the complexity increases the higher, the larger your estate and your net worth is. But if you have people that depend on you, you own stuff, or you have people that depend on you, you need to have some level of you need to do some level of an estate planning.
Yep, 100%.
I would agree. I mean, like, yeah, there's more to it than just a bunch of money. I mean, we've done episodes on.
I mean, it's guardianships for minors. It's where do you want your stuff, your property to go if you pass away. It's wills, it's trusts, it's power of attorneys, like you mentioned.
Pull the plug question, everything.
You certainly could do it on your own, but I wouldn't certainly recommend it.
Please don't.
And that's the only thing that I'm recommending that you definitely go to a professional to take care of your estate plan and all those other things.
You just want to make sure.
That's my recommendation.
Well, you just want to make sure it's done properly.
Yeah.
Imagine if you didn't do it properly, you're gone, and now things are in flux, and people don't know what your instructions were of what did you want to have happen to your stuff. Let's say you had minor children still in the household. It's the complexity may change with a higher net worth, but it's still there for any type of net worth.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You know what? We should probably end the episode here. There's a couple of the questions that we'll just go ahead and extend, and then we'll have some other questions. But please don't hesitate to again smash the like button. Make sure you subscribe so you know when a new episode is coming, and ask your comments. Ask your questions in the comments below this episode and the other episodes of Future Focus. We'll be going back and checking those as well. First of all, what did you guys think? First listener episode. We covered a lot of ground.
We'll get through the questions quicker next time. I promise.
Yeah, and we ideally are not going to answer the mac and cheese question. Although I'm not mad at the question.
Hey, if listeners have questions like that they want us to answer, we got to answer them.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly. Listeners have questions.
Quote unquote.
Okay. This is Future Focus, a financial strategies podcast. Thank you so much. We appreciate your time and attention. Everybody have a great day.